pineapple.
All right, sorry for the interruption. The AccuWeather alert continues. We now have a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. This is up for portions of lower Montgomery County as well as western portions of Philadelphia County. This is a heavily populated area here. We are seeing some rotation right now with that cell that is pushing over the Blue Route as I speak and pulling away from the Wayne and Radnor area. The warning is up until 10:30 this morning. Some of the communities involved here, it looks like the severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado located over Narberth or 7 miles west of Philadelphia, and it's moving northeast at about 10 miles per hour. Tell you what, let's go right over to the radar and take a look at it here. I do have a storm track on this particular cell, and it's that little red blip. If you see the cone there on the end of the cone, it's that little blip there pushing over western portions of Philadelphia County as I speak. It's moving along very, very rapidly. If you look at that blue box on the upper left-hand part of your screen, notice the times and the community and when we think this cell will be over your neighborhood. So 10:05 in Glenside, 10:14 Upper Moreland, looks like 10:17 Lower Moreland, 10:20 Upper Southampton, and 10:24 Lower Southampton. Again, this is radar indicated. It has not actually been seen on the ground, but it's a radar indicated tornado. They're seeing some rotation right now. Let's go over to the relative velocity mode and see if we can pick up any of the rotation here. We're going to move a little bit farther to the north, and I do not see a well-defined area of circulation. Now remember, what you're looking for here, this is velocity mode, so we're looking at inbound and outbound winds. Inbound being the green color, outbound being the red color. So just by looking at this right now, I would think it would be, got to get my telestrator here, looks like it would be, bear with me real quick because I'm a one-man band here trying to do the controls. If you look at Wayne Junction, you see that? It would be just west of there. That's where the rotation appears to be, pulling away from the Marion area. And again, this is lifting to the northeast pretty rapidly at about 30-35 miles per hour. Let's go right back over to the reflectivity mode. And this kind of gives you a better idea of where this cell is. There we go, right there. Okay, so let's update the track a little bit. All right, and we'll lift it just a little bit farther to the north. So it is that cell just north right now of the Schuylkill Expressway in West Philadelphia County. Remember where you want to be here in a tornado warning, especially if you're one of the communities that are in that box. You want to be in the basement or the center part of your house. All right, now don't panic, but you do want to move quickly to those areas. Basically, if you don't have a basement, you want to be in a windowless interior room, whether that's a hallway, a closet, away from windows, okay? And you want to protect yourself. Also, for areas that are in the cone towards Northampton, you still have some time. What I would do is I would try to make sure I grab a blanket. You want to move down to the basement now. Make sure you have your shoes on. Remember, they ran into that problem with the Mullica Hill tornado a couple years ago. Some of the folks rushed down to the basement. They didn't have their shoes on. When they came back upstairs, there was broken glass everywhere. So you don't have a lot of time in places like Abington and Upper Moreland. You want to head to the basement now, but in places like Northampton, Lower Southampton, again, what the idea here is to slowly, quickly but calmly move down to the basement, grab a blanket, grab a bottle of water, make sure that you have your shoes on and just take shelter. What you want to do is kind of find, once you get into the basement, you want to kind of find a sturdy place, kind of hunker down. Also remember, you can stream our show right now on your cell phone. I will give you the okay, the clear, when it's time to get back upstairs. But right now, we have this tornado warning, which is looks like it's pulling out of western Philadelphia County as I speak and getting ready to move into southern portions of lower Montgomery County. Let me do another update here on the cell. I'm going to stay away from the relative velocity mode right now. It looked like a broad rotation, and it was pretty difficult to pick out. So this is a little bit easier to follow here. Again, right now it looks like 10:07 in Glenside. Looks like 10:11 for Abington. 10:15 Upper Moreland. 10:18 Lower Moreland. So those are the communities that are in the path of this storm. You still have a little bit of time here, but again, you want to get to the basement or the center part of your house, grab the family, and get to your safe spot. All right, so here's a quick look at some of the tornado safety, what to do. Remember, it's the basement, interior hallway, or closet if you don't have a basement. We were just talking about that. You want to avoid windows because the windows can shatter. All right, the last thing in the world you want is to be all cut up here. So avoid rooms that have windows. Stay or move indoors and get under a sturdy shelter, some kind of sturdy object, like maybe a workbench or something. So here's a look at where you do and don't want to be in the house when this tornado warning is issued, okay? So stay away from the second story. You want to be on the lowest level, okay? Most damage actually occurs on the top floor. And again, we saw that with a lot of the tornado warnings that have been issued earlier this year. And I keep thinking back towards that Mulligan Hill tornado. I remember some of the images that I saw when I drove through those communities. The second floor was gone. The first floor was damaged as well, but the second floor was completely gone. So again, you want to be in the lower part of your house. Here's a look at the interior room right there. Notice the X's are near windows and near outside walls. You want to be in that interior closet. So avoid windows, go to the lowest floor, interior hallway or bathroom, and get to the low spot here and cover yourself up. All right, let's go right back over to the reflectivity mode and kind of follow this thing through. And, you know, as I continue to update this storm track here, know where you are, okay, on a map. Know what county you live in. Know some of the communities that you live next to. For example, if you live in the Williamstown area, know that Sewell is right down the street, Glassboro, Pittman, they're areas that are close by. You want to know where you live because I'm going to start calling out names of towns, names of landmarks, names of rivers and roads, things like that. And it's going to help you when I mention these things, if you know you live close by to something that I start calling out here. 1014 Upper Moreland, 1017 Lower Moreland. You know what it looks like? This is starting to move away. Again, it's a very fast moving cell. Let's go right about here and put that new track on. It's lifting through lower portions of Montgomery County, moving to the northeast at, again, 30 to 35 miles per hour. This is a cell that is Doppler radar indicated. In other words, the radar is indicating some rotation from the National Weather Service here. The warning is up for Montgomery and Philadelphia County until 10:30. In the latest statement from the National Weather Service, it says at 9:53, the severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado, and it was located at that time. Now, that was 9:54. That was about 10 minutes ago. It was located near Narberth, or 7 miles west of Philadelphia, and moving off to the northeast. So we'll just stay on this for now. And again, if you're in areas, perfect example, Bucks County, lower portions of Bucks County. Get to your safe spot now. You have some time still, but you want to get to where you need to be to avoid the worst of this. We're also seeing very heavy rain. Look at the colors right now. The radar starting to show. We got a lot of yellows, a lot of reds, and a lot of oranges. What this indicates is the very heavy rain. Remember, when we're in reflectivity mode, all it shows you is how heavy the rain is actually falling. When you start to see the red, when you start to see the purples, that would indicate very heavy drenching downpours and the possibility of some hail. We haven't seen any hail reports just yet. And remember, this is an area that has been hit very, very hard over the last several weeks, quite honestly now. The ground is saturated. We've had a lot of flooding problems in this part of the viewing area, and we're seeing more heavy rain to go along with this tornado warning. And if you look towards the top of your screen, the Solebury area, you see that? That's in north central portions of Bucks County. That was the area that had the tornado warning this morning. We had nothing confirmed, but it does appear as if there was a little bit of damage in that area as it quickly moved north into Hunterdon County. That was around 4:30 this morning. And then everything temporarily settled down, but now we're starting to see another round push through. So we're watching this cell here. Looks like it's moving out of Philadelphia County now, moving into lower portions of Montgomery County. Let's, I'll tell you what, let's take the track off. And what I want to do here is just broaden out a little bit so you get a general idea of what else is going on around the viewing area. And you can see it's a very fast-moving cell, thankfully. Again, lifting off to the northeast. We have more heavy rain right now in Bucks County, a lot of heavy rain falling in Montgomery County. And then notice the training effect that we're starting to see up and down the I-95 corridor. All right, looks like from the airport south and west over the Commodore Barry Bridge, the Delaware Memorial Bridges there in Wilmington, all seeing very heavy rain. And then there's more heavy weather out here in southern portions of Cumberland County. Places like Fortescue and Gandy's Beach, heavy drenching downpours and a couple of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. All right, let's go back over to the cell that has prompted the tornado warning. It is pulling out of Philadelphia County now, and it is for lower portions of Montgomery County. Here's a look at the warning. It is up until 10:30. There's the area right there. Now the green, that is the flash flood warning. Now that was expanded. It originally was just for east central portions of Chester County, but they expanded it to include lower Montgomery County, northern Delaware County, and western portions of Philadelphia County because of the tremendous amount of rain that was falling in a very short period of time. I'm going to go back over to the relative velocity mode and see if we can find any rotation here. Remember, what we're looking for is red over top of green. What that indicates is winds moving away and towards the radar. You can clearly see where the radar sweep is. So if you look towards the bottom of your screen, right there, just to the northwest of Cherry Hill, that's the base of the Doppler radar. Again, you would be looking at winds moving towards and away from that radar.
And Chris, we just want to remind people that this is really the time that they need to make sure that they also have their 6ABC apps ready, and that if you are in one of those tornado warning zones, you need to move to the basement or to the center part of your house, away from windows. You were saying that you need to stay on the lowest floor of your home. If you don't have a basement, just move down away from the second level. And again, it's just so important, Chris, get your shoes on, grab a blanket, grab a bottle of water, go down to your basement. Make sure that you are keeping track of exactly where these tornado warnings are popping up. This is like whack-a-mole. I mean, we are seeing things popping up all over the place, and one tornado warning expires, one flash flood warning expires, and then another one pops up. And so you're keeping track of all of this for us. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings throughout the day today. Our entire region is on a flood watch. And so again, the best advice here, take a look at what's happening. Take a look at the map, move to the basement or to the center part of your home. If you don't have a basement, you want to at least be in a windowless interior room. That could be your hallway or your closet. And
you know, let's do this. Let's see if we can take the Society Hill camera, point it west. Actually point it northwest. We may actually be able to see this cell here as it passes on by. It's great advice, Nydia. And again, these cells, one of the problems that we're seeing here is everything is happening so quickly. You know, I mean, I remember talking to Nydia about these cells as the 6 to 8 a.m. show was starting to end, and they had just developed so quickly. And that's the kind of atmosphere that we're in right now. There's so much humidity, there's so much instability that, you know, within the blink of an eye, not only do we have downpours, but now we have severe weather. So if you're just now tuning in, we do have a tornado warning. This is up for portions of western Philadelphia County, lower Montgomery County, northern Delaware County until 10:30 this morning. So it looks like another 20 minutes from now. It is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning, or in other words, the radar, it's not a confirmed tornado, but the radar is picking up strong enough rotation, or what we call gate-to-gate shear, to prompt the warning for those areas. So what I want you to do here is look at that little box in the upper left, 1014 Glenside, 1018 Abington. By the way, please somebody let me know when that Sky 6 is available so we can go to it. Okay, 1022 in Upper Moreland and 1026 in Lower Moreland. Those are the times that I expect this storm over those particular areas. Remember, even a spin-up tornado, which is a weaker tornado, winds of 75 to maybe 95 miles per hour, that can still cause considerable damage to a home or a yard. It can take your car and toss it. It can take a boat off of its stand. I mean, those are very strong winds. We're also seeing now a little bit of hail being reported on the northern side here as it crosses over the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It's a pretty big cell. You can see it's pulling out of Philadelphia County. And like we talked about earlier, you want to calmly but quickly get to the basement or the center part of your house. As Nydia said, you want to be in a windowless interior room if you do not have a basement. You just want to be away from windows and on the lowest floor. So this is the only cell that is warned at the moment, so we're going to stay on this, but we do have plenty more activity out there. There's a heavy thunderstorm in Cumberland County. There's also some more heavy rains just north of this cell. You can kind of see them here. They're in western portions of Mercer County. Looks like a lot of the worst of that cell is actually pushing away from our viewing area and into southern Hunterdon County now. And remember, when you're looking at this, the way that you look at the reflectivity mode, which is what we're in right now, the brighter the colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, that indicates where the heaviest rain is falling. Now, we've had Doppler radar estimates over 2 to 3 inches with this particular cell. We've had rainfall rates between 2 and 3 inches an hour. So it's not just the rotation. We're also seeing very heavy rains here and a lot of flooding. Matter of fact, the National Weather Service has issued, there it is right there, the flash flood warning. Notice the green area here. It extends through Wayne and Radnor, areas that were pummeled this same time last weekend. Doppler radar estimates had over 6 inches in that area last weekend. There were reports of cars floating in parking lots. I remember the Schuylkill Expressway eastbound near King of Prussia was shut down because of so much water on the road. So this is an area that has really been hit pretty hard over the last week. This is the last thing that they need to see. Hopefully this cell will move along pretty swiftly. Norristown, you're also in that flood warning. That little red, I guess it looks like a triangle here, that is the tornado warning. So it is western portions of Philadelphia County, and it extends all the way up into the Abington area. So now we're in lower portions of Montgomery County. We do have the camera. Okay, let's go there. Let's take that. Nydia?
Yeah, this is impacting so much of our area. You know, Chris, I was a storm chaser in Tornado Alley in Oklahoma City, and I remember seeing some of the aftermath of some of these tornadoes, and just astonishing to see what these powerful winds can do. Picking up entire homes, entire mobile homes, turning cars over and just making them look like toys. It is important that people really take this seriously. As you said, calmly but quickly move to the basement or to the center part of your house. Get to a windowless interior room. That can be a hallway or a closet. And Chris, as you were saying, you don't know where you're going to end up. So get your shoes on, grab a blanket, grab a bottle of water. Make sure that you have everything that you think that you might need to kind of ride this storm out, because you don't know how long it'll take. These things seem to be moving quickly, but right now we're looking at 1017 in Glenside, 1021 in Abington, 1025 in Upper Moreland, then Upper Southampton, Northampton, and now Village Shires. We also have a flood watch on for our entire region. I mean, as you said, we've really been pummeled. I mean, we were just talking about this kind of severe weather last Sunday. Some of these same areas getting hit yet again. Also so important, you know, when all of this water falls in such a short period of time, we are going to have consequences to that. So if you see high water, you want to turn around, don't drown. Severe floodwaters swept through Bucks County yesterday, killing 4 people. A family of 4, including a 9-month-old and a 2-year-old, remain missing. And now we have these tornado warnings, 1016 Glenside, 1020 Abington. You want to make sure that you are paying close attention to the track of these tornadoes. Again, you want to calmly but quickly get to the basement or a lower part of your house. You do not want to be on the 2nd floor, Chris.
And you know, Nydia, one of the problems here, I mean, I guess I shouldn't call it a problem here, but you know, when you talk about tornadoes in Tornado Alley in particular, it's a flat area. You know what I mean? I mean, you can see forever out there. I used to forecast in Kentucky, and it is true. You can see forever, it seems. The terrain here is a little bit different. You know, it's rocky. So sometimes because of trees and rolling hills and things like that, it's hard to see the cell. And then also because of the terrain, the water has a hard time seeping into the ground, so it doesn't take nearly as much rain in this part of the country as it would in, let's say, Tornado Alley to create big problems with flash flooding. And we have certainly seen that over the last couple of weeks here in the Philadelphia area. I mean, my goodness, I remember just 2.5 months ago, we couldn't even buy a drop of rain, and now all it does is rain here in the Philadelphia area. So if you're just tuning in, all right, we do have this tornado warning. It is up until 10:30. Now, it looks like the cutoff has been lifted a little bit farther to the north. So it is northern, or make that western, excuse me, Philadelphia County and lower portions of Montgomery County until 10:30. It's a Doppler radar indicated rotation that we're seeing. Or in other words, the radar is picking up the rotation. Viewers have not seen a tornado just yet. Doesn't mean there's not a tornado there. It just means it has not been confirmed as of now. Here's a look at what I want you to do, okay? I want you to be in the basement or the center part of your house. The object here, if you don't have a basement, is to pretty much put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. You don't want to be near an outside wall, and you certainly don't want to be in a room that has windows because of the fact that the windows can break out. So stay or move indoors, get under a sturdy object. Here's a better example. I'm going to show you a visual of what I'm talking about. So notice the X's here, and I talked about this earlier because, you know, the Mulligan Hill tornado really caught a lot of people off guard with the intensity. and quite honest, the devastation that it created in that area. But it doesn't take an EF3 or an EF2 to produce damage with a tornado. You can see considerable damage with an EF0 or an EF1, which is the bulk of the tornadoes that we see here in the Philadelphia area. So the X's represent areas that you should not be in this tornado warning. You do not want to be on the upper floors here. You want to be in the lower levels of the house. You see the circled area there? That's an interior hallway or an interior closet. Remember, you're putting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Let's go back over to the reflectivity mode. And again, what I'm noticing here is that the rotation, it does look kind of broad. Or in other words, it's a larger rotation now, which usually, let's say 85% of the time, is an indication of something that is weakening. So hopefully that is the case. Let me update this here. You can see how quickly this is moving. It is now, the cell looks like it is now clear. If you're in the Philadelphia County area that was warned, Western Philadelphia County, I'm going to give you the okay now. You can come back upstairs. It looks like the cell has passed you by. It is moving into lower portions of Montgomery County. And right now, as far as what we call DBZs, or measuring the reflectivity levels here, they don't even look as impressive anymore. So hopefully what we're seeing here is a sign that this cell is weakening. A lot of times the National Weather Service, just to be safe, will allow this warning to continue until it reaches its expiration time, which again, if you're just now tuning in, is for 10:30. So there's a look at the track. 10:20 in Glenside. It's actually right there over you now. 10:24 in Abington, 10:29 for Upper Moreland, 10:32 for Lower Moreland, and 10:36 in Upper Southampton. Now, what I want you to do, if you live in Lower Bucks County, you can see a couple of the communities here, Northampton County, Upper Makefield. Sometimes these cells, you'll lose the rotation for maybe 20 minutes or a half hour, only to see it develop again. So you folks here in Lower Bucks County, I want you to have a plan. And remember what that plan is. Basement, center part of your house. As Nydia and I have been mentioning, when you go down to the basement, make sure you have your shoes on. Because if this storm hits your area, if it hits your house, it'll blow out windows. It could create structural damage. And then you've got to come back upstairs with no shoes on. That's a big, big problem. So have your shoes on, grab a blanket, grab a bottle of water. Remember, you can stream us on your cell phone. You don't have to blast the TV upstairs if you don't have a TV downstairs. You can stream us. And again, I will give you the okay when it's time to come back upstairs. But I like what I'm seeing here. It does appear as if this cell is weakening. So if you look towards the upper left-hand part of your screen, 10:29, that's Upper Moreland, 10:32, Lower Moreland. So we have about 12 minutes in that area there. 10:36, if the cell continues to hold on to its circulation that we're seeing, looks like Upper Southampton, and 10:42 in Northampton. Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's try to go back outside. Let's go back to the Society Hill camera and let's see if we can get another vantage point of it. Well, that's the heavy rain. You can clearly see that. And can somebody tell me where we are pointed here? Are we pointed north? Are we pointed northwest? Where's the... We think it's northwest. Okay, so that is the heavy rain that's falling. And you know what? I'm glad we're showing this here because that is another thing that I want to point out. Sometimes if there is a tornado on the ground, it can be rain wrapped and it becomes very difficult to see. So again, you don't want to, and I know, believe me, I've been through these when I forecasted out in Kentucky. It does become sort of mesmerizing. You want to see it. Well, I'm advising you not to act that way. Just go to the basement or the center part of your house because of how heavy that rain is. If there is, in fact, a tornado on the ground, it may be darn near impossible to see because of that blinding rain that's falling. That's the view just north and west of Center City, Philadelphia, as this cell continues to pass on by.
And Chris, that's such important advice. I know that some people have the tendency to want to go out and get pictures of what's going on, send them to us, but it is really important that if you are in one of these tornado zones right now, you have to take precautions, take these warnings seriously, go down to your basement or the center part of your house, a windowless interior room, that can be a hallway or a closet. These tornadoes right now going through Lower Montgomery County, people in Bucks County also need to very calmly but quickly get to to their safe zones as well. As Chris was saying, you want to get your shoes on because you never know what's going to happen. There can be a lot of structural damage. Windows can get blown out. You might have glass to contend with as you're trying to make your way back upstairs. So get your shoes on, grab a blanket and a bottle of water, whatever you think you're going to need to ride through the storm. You can stream us on your cell phones, so don't feel like you have to turn up the volume on your televisions. Just stream us on your cell phones and make sure to stay safe. Chris also saying that, you know, if you don't have a basement, you just want to make sure you get to the lower part of your house. The second floor is the most dangerous part of your home right now. You also want to be aware that flash flooding is also an issue. We are dealing with life-threatening flash flooding today. Already yesterday, severe floodwaters swept through Bucks County, killing 4 people. The search is resuming for a family of 4 that is missing right now in Bucks County. They include the parents and a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. This is something to take very seriously. 2 women, 1 man, they were found dead in the Washington Crossing area in Upper Makefield Township last night. We have been dealing with these kinds of storms for some time now. Just last Sunday, we were talking about severe weather, drenching downpours, hitting parts of certain areas that are being hit yet again today, Chris.
You know what, let's go right back over to Storm Tracker 6 Live, Nydia. And I'm just reading off of the live chat from the National Weather Service. It appears as if, now I'm waiting for that polygon to disappear. You can see it underneath the radar there. It appears as if the warning has been discontinued, but I don't see the polygon disappearing yet underneath. Now, you see the storm track. Those are the communities there. But again, they have expired the warning through Montgomery County. So as long as that thing disappears, I'm going to wait another minute or two. Remember what we were talking about earlier. Sometimes with these cells, again, they'll spin. You get a quick spin up. It lifts off the ground, and then maybe 20 minutes later, you get some rotation again. And that's why I want to put the folks that live in lower Bucks County on alert now. Have your plan now. You are not under a tornado warning, but again, the cell is going to be pushing over your area pretty soon, probably within the next 20 minutes to half hour or so.
And people should wait for your cue. You're going to tell them when it's safe to come back upstairs.
That's right. So like we were talking about western Philadelphia County, again, I gave the all clear. Everybody can come back upstairs. Looks like for now, lower Montgomery County, same thing. It looks like we're in the clear. A lot of heavy rain here, and we're seeing some straight line winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour, but it appears as if the rotation that the National Weather Service was picking up here about 20 minutes ago is starting to weaken a little bit, and let's hope that continues. And you know, another thing that I'd like you to do if you live in lower Bucks County or lower Montgomery County, get on the cell phone. You know, if you have loved ones that are out there, let them know that we've already had a tornado warning and that the cell is pushing through. Make sure they're aware. This way, if we get another warning, they are aware of it and they know what to do. Real quick, here's a look at some of the communities involved. Again, upper left-hand part of your screen. Looks like about 4 minutes from now in Upper Moreland, 1033, I believe that's Bonaire, right? 1036, Upper Southampton, 1042, Northampton, 1045, Village Shires, and 1050, Newtown. Let me just double check here. Again, it says the warning has expired, but I don't like the fact that that polygon's not disappearing just yet. 1024, tornado warning has expired. Okay, so National Weather Service, it appears as if they have discontinued this tornado warning. So, Nydia, I will send it back over to you. If we get more warnings, we'll jump right back on.
Okay, so the tornado warning has been discontinued, but you still need to make sure to keep the 6ABC app handy. Chris Sowers is continuing to track what is happening in terms of severe weather in our area. We are still expecting drenching downpours. We have a flash flood warning in effect, as well as a flood watch for the entire region. We'll be right back with more.